Christine Agro here behind the camera. I thought I'd take you on a little bit of an adventure with me today when I was on healing journeys with my friend Gentra Green Gardener. We were talking about Magnolia and she said, oh, have you ever put them in water and then drank the water, which is basically creating a flower essence out of them? And I had never thought of that. So this is my beautiful magnolia tree that I talk about so often and write about so often, and it's been such a wonderful guide and inspiration for me. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take just a few of these beautiful blossoms and put them into some water. It's a beautiful sunny day today. That's the kind of day that you want. And I'm going to turn these into a flower essence. And a flower essence is basically you take by using the petals or the flowers, you extract the vibration of the flowers. Each flower has its own personality, its own energy, its own vibration. And you put the flower petals in water during a sunny day, and the process of the sun in the water allows the vibration of the flower to transfer to the water. And then when you take the flower essence, it moves through your body and it does a couple of things, or it can do a couple of things. It can transmute energy, it can shift energy, or it can just move it out altogether. So flower essences are really nice. They are, I think, one of the modalities that are really harmonic with the body, and they don't have any side effects. If they don't benefit you, then nothing happens. If they do benefit you, then you experience a really lovely shifting or healing. So just take a look at this, because I love this tree so much. Look at these beautiful new shoots coming off of Magnolia. Isn't that just gorgeous? Okay, so I'm going to find the blossoms that Magnolia would like us to use. We only take what we need. We are thoughtful, we are considerate, we are grateful, we are thankful. For me, I look for energy, like this one right here is just calling to me and seems to be open to participate in this process. When you go to take a petal, or you go to take a branch, or whatever it is that you're going to be using from nature, when you touch it, you can oftentimes feel whether or not it wants you to use it or not. And if it seems like it doesn't, if it's resistant, if it won't release easily, then don't use it. Actually, I'm looking at all this beautiful new growth under it. I think I'm going to let that one be, even though it seems open and willing. Wow, just so much beauty here. Let's see. Of course, they have to be low enough for me to grab. Let's take a look over here. So this is part of the same tree. I think we've got some newer energy here, younger blossoms. I think we have a few over here that look like they're so this one seems open. Oh, sorry, I'm over here. He needs to be over here. This one here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to leave these pieces here. I'm just going to pinch it right at the base of the flower so that it comes off. It's hard. I don't want it to drop to the ground. I'm trying to hold the video camera. There. Thank you so much, Magnolia. Look how beautiful that is. Isn't that gorgeous? So I'm going to take just a few more. I'm going to shut the camera off while I'm doing that. I'm going to take just a few more, and then I'm just going to show you dropping them into the water. Okay, so I spent some time with Magnolia, picked off the blossoms that seem to want to participate in this. I'm making two different batches. This batch has just two fresh young blossoms. This one has a more senior blossom and two younger ones. When you make flower essences, you try not to hold the flower too much. I mean, technically they say you're supposed to take a leaf from the flower or from the tree and use that to pick your flowers off, or from your plant. But of course there's no leaves on Magnolia today. I suppose I could have used a fallen petal, but since I'm making these for me and I have such a lovely relationship with Magnolia, I'm not overly concerned about shifting the vibration of her flowers. So once you have your flower petals picked, you're going to use spring water, not distilled water, but spring water. Distilled water, of course, all the life is taken out of it, and when you're making flower essences, you want something that has the vibration of life in it. So we're going to use spring water. I'm going to fill each bowl with water, and then these just sit outside in the sun. It's supposed to be unbroken sun for 4 or 5 hours, and I'm just going to show you here. We got a beautiful clear day, so I think it's a perfect day for this adventure. So I'm just going to take the water. I brought out this big jug of water with me. And I'm just going to fill up the bowl with the water. I'm going to try to pour it over the flowers a bit, just to get them to, the flower petals, just to get them to sort of sink into it a little bit more. And this one. Isn't that beautiful? So I use glass bowls. You can use crystal bowls, but I'm not so comfortable with the lead and crystal, so I tend to not use crystal. I like to use glass. But look at this. Look at that shine. Look at this. Isn't this magical? How beautiful that is. And this one, just gorgeous. Okay, so these are going to sit here for 4 or 5 hours, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to strain out the flowers, and I think maybe they might need, this one feels like it needs maybe one more blossom in it, this one here, so I'm going to put another one in. So as you can tell, there's no, at least in my world, there's no hard and fast rules about how to do this. It's all about being connected to what's going on and noticing what's needed and what works, and letting everything speak to you. Because the more connected you are, the more life as a whole talks to you about what it wants and what it needs. All right. Okay, so I am back, and our Magnolia flower essences have been sitting out in the sun for about 6 hours now. I did end up losing the sun. I thought it was going to be a beautiful, beautiful sunny day all day long, but as you can see, the sun is gone. But I think that's okay. I think that they've still been out here in the sun long enough. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use a stick now to, actually no, I don't think I'm going to do that. Yes, I am. Oh, see, we got little ant here. Come on, move away, please. There. Okay, so little ant's right there, and it's fine. I am going to do that. I want to keep the flowers. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this stick to pull the flowers out. This is the newer blossoms here. So at this point, we don't want to put our fingers into the flower essence blend. A pair of tweezers would work. Stick can work. You just don't want to be sticking your fingers in there and change the vibration of what's happened in the water. Let's see here if I can do this. It's kind of like using one chopstick. Yeah. There we go. I want to keep the flowers. I'm going to put them in a special place. I don't want to just throw them out. I'm going to put them someplace as a way of just honoring them. Put them somewhere in the garden. So I'm going to strain this so I don't have to get everything out at this point. So I've got this nice big glass ball jar. I love ball jars. I've got tons of different sizes. And a really wonderful metal wire mesh strainer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the water and I'm going to strain it through the strainer to get all the other little pieces out. So I'm just going to pause this right now. Okay, so I transferred the water in the bowl through the mesh strainer into the ball jar, and you can see it's about half full. I did have a little extra. I gave it to one of the daylilies, but I wasn't over by much. And then you need to preserve, this is called the mother tincture, or it will be called the mother tincture or the mother essence. You need to preserve it, and so we use brandy to do that. So I've got this bottle of brandy. I'm gonna just open it up, and I'm gonna fill up the rest of the bottle with the brandy. Right up to the neck, almost to the neck. Put the cap on. Okay, so I filled up the rest of the bottle with the brandy. You always label what you make. So this says Magnolia blossom and the date, and actually I added young blossoms because these were the younger ones, just to see if they're any different when I take them. The bottle is sterilized, it's cleaned before we use it. What else can I tell you about it? So once you have your tincture in here, you're going to actually shake it by multiples of 8. So I'm going to shake it for let's see, 138 times. Yeah, 138 times. And you're basically, what you're doing is you're shaking it and hitting it on the palm of your hand. So, and that's called potentizing the mother essence. Okay, and then once your mother tincture is potentized, you're going to take 7 drops and add it to an 8-ounce bottle, which becomes your store essence, and that's going to be filled half with brandy, half with water. And then from there, you take 2 drops from this one, put it into this bottle, fill it half with brandy, half with water, and this becomes your this bottle, half with brandy, half with water, 2 drops in here, and this bottle becomes your dosage bottle. So you're basically stepping down, and each of these gets potentized. So each of these are going to be, you're going to have to shake both of these, hitting against the palm of your hand for, you know, I don't know, I like 138, it's 64 and 64. Just good numbers. So each of those get done like that. And you're going to label those bottles as well. And then these, the mother tincture and the store tincture, get stored in the refrigerator. So there you go. That's how you make a simple flower essence from something on your property. And I am going to continue with this process and make this one, and then I'll share this with you. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to move on to make the mother tincture from the more mature flower blossoms. I just want you to take a look at this because they're just so strikingly beautiful. Do you see how that completely opened while it was in the water? And just look at the strength of the inside of that flower. Isn't that gorgeous? So when you think about, there's this gentleness, this sort of softness that it looks like of the magnolia. It's really not soft. It's quite a hard, sturdy flower. And then it has this really strong stamen inside. It's just really amazing and becomes part of its properties. Okay, so I'm going to move on, and I'm going to turn this one into the mother tincture, just as I turned the younger blossoms into this mother tincture. So I ran out of brandy when I did this second one. I'm going to have to go get some more. But it's interesting because the two, not in color, but in vibration, the two tinctures definitely have a different feeling to them. This one, the more mature blossoms, has just a more maternal, like matronly wisdom kind of energy to it. And this one has more of like a youthful, not youthful, it has more of a new beginnings, blossomings, like all things are possible, a lot of support for creative energy, creative dynamic, where this one seems to be more about nurturing and care. So this one is more active and sort of goal-oriented, driven, and this one is more of like a nurturing, embracing, wrapping around oneself. So it'll be interesting to explore these two and see what they do when I take them. So after removing the blossoms from this one and filling up the ball jar, I actually had quite a lot more left with this. So instead of giving this to the flowers, I'm going to leave it over here for the birds and the little critters who come to visit quite often. If they need it, they'll drink from it. If they don't, they won't. I'll leave it out here till tomorrow morning, and then I'll just dump it into the flowers. I'm going to leave it right here by our angel. So let's see. Just going to lean up against the back of the angel. So this is our little angel. Very lovely.